welcome back to the Modern Monks podcast. We've had a little bit of time away, 4 weeks to be exact. A lot's been happening. We've opened a new facility. E's just moved in and started operating today. We've been in Bali for a retreat. It honestly feels like the last month has just drifted past, hey?
Yeah, it's crazy how quick it's gone.
It's nuts. We set ourselves a couple of unrealistic goals with being able to podcast all through this time, and realised as we're going there was going to be too much stress. So we do apologise for our lack of appearance on the airways. We have missed it, and we're really looking forward to diving into this episode. Before we do start, a couple of thank yous straight off the bat. Ghetto Movement, AccuFit. Without the two major sponsors, the podcast doesn't happen,
We wouldn't be here today.
We wouldn't be here, all those dollars, we've got to take home cash. But other than us getting behind it, we've got Evergreen Landscaping. Evo's been kind enough to point us in the right direction for some inside plants. So he's hooked us up with a couple of absolute pearlers to draw the attention away from our ugly mugs.
Yeah.
Well, Eamon's ugly mug.
Yeah.
I think that's it for our thank yous. Jimmy's Burgers, always keeping us full. We've got a new organic kombucha. I think this is the Aldi version of kombucha. Get around it. They don't actually sponsor us, but it tastes really good and it's quite cheap too. So jump on the train. Ready to roll?
Ready to rock and roll. Let's
Mate,
to it.
Talk me through your last 4 weeks, emotionally, mentally, physically. Moving into a new space, coming on board on the retreat. Roll me through it.
Like, intense is an understatement. I remember I don't know if it was last episode or the episode beforehand.
It's been a while.
Seriously, man. I did a spiel about, I've done a fit out before. Everything's easy. Life's easy for E. He just figured it out.
Do you know what? I rewatched that the other day, thinking, what have we covered? I don't want to double up on ourselves. And I listened to that exact part, and your exact words were, look, it's probably going to be heaps harder for you than it is for me. I've done this before. It's not going to be a big deal.
Yeah. How wrong I was.
Joey, what's the likelihood of us being able to edit in a video of Eamon painting miserably at midnight? Can we do that?
Yeah.
I'll see if we can edit that in, guys, because it's an absolute cracker.
There was a couple instances Will came in and it's like he turned on the lights and I was like running up the walls. It was just intense. It was so long, I didn't realize how much space there was. It's the largest space that I've worked out of, and since I was sharing when I first started practicing. And it's just to have that. I'm so proud of what is there now, because I really think it's a good space, and I really dig the vibe in there. And when I said that, I just had no idea what I was talking about, and
Well, the worst thing is you did have an idea. You knew what was ahead of you, and it was just so much worse because of the size of the space.
Well, that's the thing. It wasn't just the size of the space. It was
the configuration, shifting everything. Yeah, because out of everything, your rooms had the most shifting and changing walls, ripping stuff down, rebuilding, covering up.
Yeah, and it was just more. It was just more expenses after another. And everyone always says budget for double, and then go from there. And
if only that was the truth.
It's crazy. But I'm super, everything was, I think it was important for me for that to happen, because now I look at it and I go, I always thought, I'll just leave a space and go do something else. Or, you know what I mean? I always check out of an opportunity. So sometimes if I'm in a space, everything's set up, I'm I could leave this anytime. But now that I've put the hard yards in, the blood, the sweat, and
don't want to go anywhere.
I don't want to go anywhere. And I'm, committed to the process as it is. And I think maybe that was a lesson that I didn't consider and I wasn't thinking about. But now having operated in a space and look around and be oh yeah, shit, I came here, Sunday night, midnight, and I'm painting because I haven't done enough, and I've got 2 weeks before I open, It
was nuts. Honestly, so much work's gone into this place.
Yeah.
We can't wait for, so this won't go to air before the opening, but the people that are listening to the podcast, I want you guys to come in. E and I are going to hook you up. If you pop in and mention this shout out in the podcast, E and I are going to hook you up with some special treatment. So be sure to mention this, and if you listen and you come in, you get the hookups. If you don't, you miss out.
That's some serious Back to the Future. Are you asking people to listen in the future, come back in time to Saturday, take advantage of the...
That's exactly what I'm asking them to do.
I think that's a fair ask.
Come in, check it out. We'll hook you guys up.
Yeah.
Before we keep going, I think we do have to pay special homage to our partners, because we have been so invested into the facility that we've created and, you know, what's gone into it, and their patience and love and support. We can't do it without them.
No.
So M&G, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. All the love and support goes a long way.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you a few little questions about you coming on board on the retreat that we just had. Because obviously we facilitated 90% of it, but while we were sort of chin wagging and thinking about it, we thought it'd be a great idea to get you on with some guided meditations.
Yeah.
And the reception was amazing. Everyone frothed them. There were so many different experiences. So first of all, I want you to talk the guys at home through the point behind a guided meditation, and it's like, and just maybe like touch into the ones that we did, like, you know, healing, becoming a part of your deeper self, and, you know, being able to connect on that deeper level.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, so that was a nice deeper self. I love that. I should have used that. So meditation for a lot of people is something where you think, okay, if I can't sit quietly, I can't meditate. And that's one of the first things that we touched upon when I did the meditation or the guided meditation, was that it doesn't come easy for anyone. And no one, like, in day-to-day life, we're not conditioned to sit quietly. We've got stuff to do, we've got things to get going, and we just don't have time for it. So first and foremost, no one meditates with ease. It's always difficult, but it is something powerful. And the reason why we employed a guided meditation as opposed to a soul meditation on the retreat was, it's a really good opportunity in which, when you're actively doing something with a group of individuals, your mood, your energy lifts. You know, you feel everyone else around you, and it inspires you to move forward. It inspires you to do it.
Yeah, the energy is a real thing in a room like that, and you could feel the first meditation, especially, like, the energy was so ripe and high, and the second one was a completely different vibe in the room. Like, it was, you know, people had some different experiences, and, you know, almost suffered a little in their second guided meditation, which was interesting because it, you know, the group dynamic shifted a little, and it followed that path.
Yeah,
it was nuts.
And it was good too, because we only had the opportunity to do two, because we were just exhausted from, like, the whole retreat. We only had opportunity to do two guided meditations a couple of days apart. But it was good that people got to see that there was a good experience and there was a negative experience. And it's okay to have both experiences, but ultimately each one is as necessary as another. Like, you can't hold on to the fact that, like, the wonder years or the yesteryears in which everything was great. Like, sometimes experiences aren't great, but the lesson in meditation is to focus on it and not necessarily unpack it, but just sit with it. Sit with that resistance, sit with that uncomfortability, and see what lessons your subconscious or your imagination or your mind is bringing up. And just be like, oh shit, I'm thinking that, or that's negative, or this is a constant theme, or this person's annoying me, or whatever it is.
Well, and it's the same thing that, you know, it's cliche to say, but, you know, without a little rain, you don't appreciate the sun. You know, and to have a bad experience, well, in inverted commas, a bad experience meditating, is to almost give yourself freedom to go a little deeper on the next one, because you do appreciate when you fall into that space, and it does feel, again, inverted commas, easy. Because meditating is not easy, and if you've got an incredibly busy mind or a busy body, it is very hard to still yourself. But I think with a guided meditation, you do run the risk of switching off to the person and falling asleep, which a couple of people did. Yeah. But you're more likely to, if you do start to drift away, and again, people said the same thing, like, there's words that trigger you back, and you come into that space. I found, as a group, I thought it was amazing, because I know at the start of a yoga practice, if I'm cueing breath and cueing the movements and cueing the thought process, everyone's nice and chill. But if I just let everyone simmer, all of a sudden there's the face scratches and the itchy knees and oh yeah, my spine's a bit sore, I can't sit still. But, you know, and for your guided meditation, I tried to be as present as possible, but I couldn't help myself but wanted to check out every now and then just how everyone was doing in the group seminar.
Yeah.
And everyone was just perfect. You know, they were listening, they were engaging. And these are people that haven't, traditionally meditated before, but they found safety in your voice. They found safety in the passage that you set them, and they just jumped on board and went with it. It was unreal to watch. I think I want you to talk everyone through the energy, the rubbing their hands for everyone to give it a bit of a try at home, the chi ball.
So just before that, when we talk about guided meditation, it's facilitating a room or a setting for other people. So you don't have to meditate by yourself. Someone else is guiding you through a process in a similar way as you could do yoga yourself, but it's infinitely easier to have Wilbur go, get in this position, do that, do this, and follow a flow, because you can kind of disconnect from, oh, I need to be doing this, or I need to be focusing on this, and if I go away from it, I'm just wasting my time. Whereas you've got someone else who can go, this is what you need to do, and you stay accountable for that. So in a guided meditation, when we facilitate that, it's a really good opportunity for you to just relax and enjoy the process. But in terms of the energy and rubbing the hands together, so in Chinese medicine, we talk a lot about qi or energy, but really...
Or energy.
Energy. That sounded bad in your head when you saw it.
So good.
It sounded so good, yeah.
It sounded good when it came out. We'll let the people decide.
Yeah, we'll put a poll up later. So we talk about, when we talk about energy, but energy is like a convoluted term, because energy it's confusing to a lot of people. Really, it's your own flow within your body in which your cells and everything is firing in that capacity. So your energy is something that's personal to you. It's different from me. And it's something that you can create and you can cultivate and you can strengthen. And energy in the same way as you have energy to get up in the morning, but you also have the energy to function and do other things. That's what we call qi. It's energy with intention, basically. Energy with intention. So it's not just energy floating around, it's something with direction and purpose. So when we do a technique in meditation, or what we call Qigong, is where we rub our hands together, and you can do this at home if you're listening, where you rub your hands against each other and create friction and heat. And you do it as intensely as you can, like 15, 20, 30 seconds, and get as much heat as you can going. It's obviously not uncomfortable. Don't scold yourself, people. Come on. So you just keep rubbing as much as you can, and then ever so gently, after you do it for about 15, 20 seconds, slowly bring your hands and fingers away from each other. Now, you may feel a certain kind of electricity or firing or something that as you bring your hands away, you might feel actions like happening in the fingertips. You might feel it in the palm of your hand, the heel of your hand. And as you start to bring it away and bring it closer, you might feel this kind of magnetic pull between the hands. Now, it's perfectly normal if you don't feel anything, because it's a sensitivity that you have to build. You know, it's like anything. It's knowing what to do in any movement is always hard. You just have to feel it and do it. Once you get it, you'll feel it forever. And if you can't do it, keep rubbing or keep squeezing the hands together to create that friction. And when you come back and out, that's a taste of your energy. And when you meditate and you use that energy with intention, you can cultivate it to a larger force, effectively. And we use this in healing to address physical problems, emotional problems, spiritual problems.
Or you've probably seen it on Dragon Ball Z.
Or you can come the shit out of something and get someone. Yeah, that's the chi. That's the energy that they talk about.
Yeah, and that's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it probably sounded like I was taking the piss, but it's loosely based off, Bruce Lee touched a lot on of like, the 1-inch punch and the energy that you can transfer and knock someone off their socks. Yeah. And it's harnessing their chi.
Yeah. And obviously in a physical setting, it's like, you could
There's no glowing ball that shoots and cuts someone's face off, but you can push energy onto other people and,
Yeah. And if you feel it, within your hands, then put it like inside of you. So place your hands on your lower abdomen. You can feel that heat and that warmth. That's effectively that energy, and that energy moving throughout the body. So that meditative technique is around creating that energy and putting it inside your body and healing anything that's a problem. And that's what we ran through on the course. And I was interested to see what came up for some people, and it was definitely an interesting experience. Very
strong too. I liked it. It seemed to bring the group a lot closer together too, because you can see how much energy you share when you're on a big group thing like that, without actually being conscious of spending time with someone else.
Yeah.
and it was nice that everyone got in the room and they actually felt that vibe, and they, unwillingly people just sort of start to mesh together.
Yeah.
Because of the energy share,
And it was good, yeah. And you can't. This is the thing. It's like you can't help but not feel good. Like you got to try really hard to, like, even if you fall asleep.
The second one, I went down a dark hole.
Yeah, you kind of went into that little pit.
I think I took a lot of people with me too.
Yeah, you're not a happy camper.
But it happens. It happens. Yeah. It's like I said, you got to appreciate there's often a lot more, and we talk about this all the time. There's always a lesson in the shitty things that happen in life, and it makes you appreciate the good things. But if you take something away from those bad, inverted commas, bad meditations, then you're much more likely to engage in a different manner or explore it deeper too. Because I know that hit me with a couple of things in the next day when I sat down to sort of take 5 for myself. I dived a little deeper into why I was having those feelings, why I was in that sort of, darker place. And, eventually it sort of leads you to your solution or, the light at the end of a tunnel. Mm-hmm. So it's always good to more deeply engage in those things than sort of just go, oh, that was a bad experience, I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah.
More reason to go again.
And I think what's also interesting is, like, meditation is another state of consciousness. So you have obviously consciousness where we're talking right now. You have meditation where you're focusing on something with intention, and a lot of other stuff drifts away after a while. And the same way is, like, if you fall asleep and you have crazy dreams, a lot of people go, oh, dreams are pointless, dreams are nothing. But all this stuff is your subconscious and your imagination and everything, that's going on in your day-to-day, or whatever that your fears are of the past or of the future or whatever. And you can't neglect what's going on in those states, because they obviously impact what you do day to day. So if you can go into a meditative state, or for a couple of minutes a day, or even doing a session with us, then you'll sit there and you have an opportunity to unpack whatever shit's been holding you back, which is ultimately good. And all you have to do really is just sit there and witness what's going on. I think it's really helpful, because I always sucked. I always found it really, really difficult to meditate, like, just by myself and build a practice around it. I found it so much, or infinitely easier to go away on a retreat per se, or go to a class and sit with people and just dig their vibe, just chill out with them while they're meditating, and then try and focus myself, because I always left feeling like I'd accomplished something, as opposed to every morning I got to get up and I got to do 20 minutes, and I sit there and I'm like, fuck, this is crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think
but how many people said that at the start of the thing? Oh, we've never meditated before, we can't do it. It's like, already you're like, you can't do it? Come on. It's the most horrible term I've ever heard anyone throw around. It's like, you can't meditate. No. You just haven't found what works for you.
Yeah.
You haven't found, the space that you feel comfortable in. You haven't found the technique that works well for you. There's no, I can't do it. It's just like saying I can't sit down, or I can't open my eyes. It's one of those things that you're able to do, but are you willing to let yourself find the comfort in doing it? Or are you just going to resist it because it's something foreign? It's always fascinates me. Like, you talk about meditation, people either roll their eyes or they want to hear more. There's no in between. Like, there's always like, oh, I've tried it. And then they say, oh yeah, I tried to sit down and do it. I couldn't concentrate.
You know what's really funny? Like, so when I do a treatment, I do certain points to target and kind of like relax the face, like get the head, like all the juices flowing so you feel relaxed, right? Just calm the whole nervous system down. Every once in a while, I have a client who's got a lot of stuff going on, and normally at the end of my session, I put a little eye pillow on, right? Just chill out, relax, yeah. Shut out all the light, just go to sleep, or just chill out and breathe, right? Every so often, I'll have a client who's like very emotional, or like very attached to like superficial things or material stuff or whatever, and they're holding on to something. And I'll come back into the room at the end, and they'll just have like thrown off the eye pillow. It'll be on their chest or something, and they'll be sitting there like, I couldn't have the eye pillow on. Like, I just felt like I was going to a place I didn't want to go.
Go there.
And I was like,
go. Don't look back. Keep the eye pillow on. Keep going deeper.
Yeah. And I don't know if, like, from a psychological standpoint, like where a lot of people have come from, obviously, right? If someone comes in, they just go, oh, I've got this pain or this problem, and you go, okay, if that's all the information that you want to give, fine. So you don't know where someone's been, so you don't know the dark places in which they're going. But ultimately, like if you're shying away from these opportunities, it's still gonna find you in life. It's gonna infiltrate in
That's
other
the thing.
aspects.
You can't bury something so deep that it's not gonna haunt you day to day, or it's not gonna haunt you in your sleep, or it's not gonna creep up and get you another time. People have to realize that consciousness is not something that you can pretend you're not a part of, that you can pretend you're not connected to. And universally, whether you like hearing this or not, or whether you're open to hearing it, we are all connected. One person suffers, we all get some repercussion on some level. You know, everyone feels what's going on in the universe. Everyone has a communal mindset. And for someone to bury something, it's not only making them suffer, it's making the people around them suffer too, on some level. And I'm not saying everyone has to go book in and see Dr. Phil and dig this shit out, but I'm saying that if you think that you've fooled your consciousness into forgetting something, you're fooling yourself, because it will creep back up, it will expose itself, and you'll have to deal with it at some point or another. And, you know, it's like, you know, we don't know what the person on the table who's the eye pillows come off and they're going, no, I didn't want to go to that place. I mean, we don't know where they're going. We, you know, excitingly say, yes, chase the rabbit down the hole, because you never know where it will lead. And we're lucky enough that we can have that attitude towards it. We do realize there are people that do suffer quite severely in that mental state. And I think that it's important for everyone, no matter what their past is or, you know, what that history is, you have to have some kind of connection to it to be able to get past it. Because if you're not willing to do that, it is always going to be there at the back of your thoughts. You know, it'll get you when you sleep. You know, when you do start to try and meditate, it's always going to rear its ugly head. So I think, you know, what we're saying without telling people they're doing it wrong is that you should go towards the resistance, because that's where your spiritual, mental and physical growth will lie at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so fucking tough to do that. And like, that's not understating it all. It's like, for a lot of problems, is sometimes you know exactly what's wrong, and you're just like, oh, actively, I'm not going to deal with it. I'd rather just push it to the side.
Veer left.
Yeah, just do an alternative route.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have no fucking idea. Like, sometimes you don't know what the problem is and why things are taking so long, or why things are so hard, or whatever it is. But there is an aspect of your mind, of your consciousness, of like who you are, who knows what that is. There is something inside here that has a solution. And ultimately, you have to delve into there to find that solution, find that answer. We're talking about it today, like the hero's journey, which is like you go away from yourself. Like, the grass is greener. You got to have you got to leave the village and have the experiences of the world.
You got to have the external experience.
Yeah, you go away from your village, and everything's the same there, and you think it's boring, and you got to go away from that. You do all these great things, and you ultimately come back to your village, because you come back to who you are. And like, that's what the general moral of that basic narrative is that you come back to yourself, because everything was fine, but you had to experience life to come back to that.
Yeah, which is why it's like cliche. Oh yeah, I'm going to find myself.
Yeah,
it's like, it's all here.
It's all inside.
It's all inside.
And it's so fucking hard to do that, but like, ultimately you have to. It's the answer. The answer only ever lies within. And I struggle with that all the time. We were talking about it today. I was like, I don't know why things are so hard in certain relationships, with friends, with family, with a partner. Like, why is there inherent problems? Why are there these consistent same arguments coming up again and again, and why can't we resolve that? And
well, it's because it's not being resolved.
Yeah.
That it keeps.
Because I haven't resolved it.
Up.
Yeah. And I was thinking about that. I'm like, I don't know what the solution is, but I know that it's not outside of myself. It's not me pretending these problems don't exist. It's not me going away and like just being like, oh, I'll come back and this person will be better. Our friendship will be better. Our relationship will be better. Whatever. It doesn't work like that. You just go, oh, you come back and someone might be in a slightly better mood, and you're like, oh yeah, shit. They've obviously learned the error of their ways, but it's not the
it's not the point at all.
Case,
and this is the thing that I find super interesting, and it happens on some level. It happens to everyone, I'm sure. But like, if you meet resistance from one person, and then, you know, say you're mates and you have your thing, and then all of a sudden you start to differ in opinion and you start veering off Of course. Oh yeah, sweet. Some people come into your life, some people leave. That person's going to leave, someone else is going to enter, and you're going to run the same course and have the same style of relationship.
Yeah.
And then it's going to get to the same point and you're going to veer off track again. And it's heartbreaking each time, or it's a bit emotional, you get upset, you lose a mate. There's a reason that pattern keeps happening, and it's because there's a problem there that is not being resolved internally, and the universe just keeps giving you another shot at fixing it. And here you are thinking, shit, I've gone through a lot of friends this year, like everyone seems like so swell and jolly, and then all of a sudden, bam, not mates anymore. And it's like, okay, there's something going on, whether it's for both of you or whether it's for one of you, but there's a reason the relationship falls apart. There's a reason that argument happens again. There's a reason you butt your head.
Yeah.
And it's just if the person involved or the people involved are switched onto it enough that they can address that problem internally and not waste another relationship on it. And whether that be your partner, whether that be your brother, best mate, anything, any relationship, like the guy that you meet down the street, maybe he doesn't smile at you anymore. Could be on that small level.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're aware of those processes and changes happening, then you become more equipped to deal with what's going on internally to fix it and nip it in the bud.
Yeah.
Like, we got super deep.
It ain't easy, bro.
Super deep tonight. I like it.
Should we bring some lightness to it? What did you like most about the retreat?
It was a really big eye-opener. I think...
Because it was pretty full on. Like, we had some action-packed days. You had a lot of demanding people asking you a lot of, not stupid questions, excellent questions, but still, needy questions and things like that.
I think my favourite thing about the retreat was that I know the next... and I had a great time and the feedback we got was amazing. But I know I can do the next one much better and much cleaner. I think the first one's always good to sort of ease in. Like, I'd never even been to Bali. And, the first time I went there, we ran a 7-night retreat. And, the positives were we sold it out. Everyone had a great time. And even if it is just words, people have said that, they want in on the next one, which is, it's always great feedback. And people were good enough to leave me some constructive feedback, which I've taken into account straight away. And I would completely restructure how I ran the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just because I think I realised, on a lifestyle retreat like that, people need a little bit of them time. They want to go explore, they want to experience the place they've gone to visit. And I think it's unfair of me to go, all right, you're coming to Bali for 7 nights, this is what you're doing. So I think I'd restructure it a little and have, 2 heavy days of content, 1 free day where it's just a yoga class and a guided meditation at night, and you feel the rest of the day yourself. Jump on your scooter, go for a surf, go shopping, go get pickpocketed by monkeys, whatever.
Yeah.
And then after that, 2 more intense days where, we grind into the work, because that's something that I didn't get as much done as I wanted to. And that's the stuff that I love, is sitting down as a group and, melting minds and, setting ourselves some good goals as individuals or groups or anything like that. I really love the nuts and bolts, and I didn't get into a lot of that because everyone was so drained physically from, training hard and having one too many bintangs.
Well, someone almost died too. We can't forget that. Timmy the Fitness Randall.
Timmy, Mr. Melon, anyone that follows Ghetto or is a part of Ghetto will know Timmy loves his sleep. This is a man that likes to put 10 hours a night away.
Consistently. 18 months of 10 hours.
And we would be up for sunrise yoga, so just before 6. But, dinner and the evening sessions would often run to about 9:30. And you do the maths, but, 9:30, 10 till, 5:36 is not 10 hours for the big dog. And he did not handle it well.
Yeah.
I
remember
he was a mess by the end of it.
We got off the bus for the mountain sunrise. He just looked around. I remember catching his eye. He said, "What are we doing? What are we doing here?"
We had to get up at 1:30 in the morning to go and we trekked up this volcano. It was the most amazing sunrise I'll ever see, and it was awesome. Like, we hiked up and it was marvelous. Like, we've got some photos if you want to check them out on the gram. But yeah, Timmy's face was just like, we were in the bus and he's like, why are we doing this? Like he was proper questioning life.
Yeah.
It was amazing, super funny.
And I don't think he recovered from that the whole time.
We got back in the morning after. He wrote me a message and he's like, I just slept for 14 hours straight. He just slept for a day. It's nuts. Eh? I'd love to have that sleep pattern.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
So funny.
But yeah,
Great time.
the retreat was great. I had a fantastic time. I learned a lot. The bunch of people we went with were absolute legends. It was a good crowd to have your first retreat with, I think. I think if I had have, completely ballsed it up, everyone would have still been awesome about it. And, but sort of gone, all right, how about this for next time? Because this sucked. But yeah, I think the group made it what it was.
Yeah.
A lot of laid back cats that were just there to step away from busy schedules and do a bit of good solid training, let their hair down a little, go swimming, go surfing, try some new stuff. It was a good crew. Can't thank everyone enough.
It was pretty crazy though, like when we said the number one thing as to why people were there. Every single person said the same thing. Everyone said, I got to get away from work. I got to get away from my life. And I said the same thing and I was like, fuck, I love what I do. Like, I mean, I know everyone thinks I don't really have a job, even though I do have a job, everybody.
Guilty.
And we get to like work for ourselves in a certain...
It's interesting though, isn't it? Because this is the mindset of the modern day human. It has become trendy to be busy. When was the last time you spoke to someone and they were like, just cruising, getting this done, getting that done, doing enough to survive? It's like, even if the person is doing that, they feel the need to go on, I've got this on, I've got this on, and I've got to go get this done, and then this has got to be done by this stage, and then, so-and-so needs this happening. And it's like, whoa, man, you sound busy as fuck. You're like, yeah. But it's good though, just keep them busy and out of trouble. I'm like, fuck. And you catch yourself saying it, and you're like, hang on a minute, I'm not that busy.
Yeah.
Like, right now, I am, but in general, that's why, we're in this game. For the lifestyle, you don't get, millions and millions of dollars yet. But it's for the lifestyle. You do it so you can, spend a couple of hours in the middle of a day, whether you want to train or go to the beach or, have a nice lunch with a friend. I don't want to be caught up in the rat race where it's like this time till this time I'm chock-a-block. And as soon as the rush from setting everything up here dies down, I have full intention of going back to that, lifestyle loving human that, has developed a space where you can, be in and around people that are happy to take charge and let you go and, back to that stuff. But yeah, somewhere along the line, everyone's just like, yeah, super busy. Work consumes me. It's like, well, that's a choice. Mm-hmm. It's not what you heard.
It's what you hear and listen.
Fuck
it. I like it. It actually made me sad when I heard that, to be honest.
Me too.
Like Me the too. Way, but it wasn't even like, oh fuck, work's hectic. It was like,
I'm getting away.
Oh, bro, work. Like this is exhausting. And I'm like, that's not fun, man. And that was the pleasure of running that retreat because you got the opportunity to unplug people.
That's why I'm slightly disappointed. No one else would probably have picked it up, but I was a little bit disappointed because that's where I see my strength as a facilitator of an event is running. Okay, what are we disconnected from? Why? Finding your why again and why you were doing your job in the first place and what you do and how you do it and connecting those three. I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why. And, I like bringing that into everyone's forefront so they can dissect what's actually happening and how they got out of the habitual pattern that they used to love and into this habitual pattern that now drives them mental because of the grind.
Yeah.
And so I was a little bit disappointed we didn't get to cover that. But I know for next time, structure change, bam.
Yeah.
Everyone leaving feeling light and got a playbook for life.
Yeah, 100%. And that was more of a theme in the Australian retreats.
Yeah, that's been well, and that's what everyone's been loving. Because it's easy to get caught up, and I have to do it, every couple of months, realign myself, check it out. I'm doing it right now. My work-life balance has been completely out. I've been all work, no life. And, you know, it's made my relationship suffer with my friends, with my wife, who's bloody got 3 months and we're having a baby. And, you know, I've got to realign myself so I can play the role that I actually want to play rather than, you know, being the center of attention at Ghetto and do those things. So it's important for everyone to recheck back in with that stuff, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get out of line with it.
Yeah. And you know, sometimes you don't even know it's happening. You just, months have gone by. Like, how quick's this year gone?
Mate, it's August.
Fucking August.
It's bloody mid-August.
And I never thought I'd be that person who's like, fucking, it's winter. Or, you know what I mean? That
It's
bloke.
spring.
Shut your mouth.
It's spring, bro. What do you mean? It's spring in 2 weeks. Like, we missed winter. Somehow we missed winter.
Yeah.
It's gone. But I mean, and it sneaks up on you, and everyone's guilty of it, including us. But I mean, we're having the conversation, we're bringing it to the forefront. It's these conversations that then make you think about it, make you go home, restructure. All of a sudden, you know, you're back in that line, back in rhythm, back in the vibration that, you know, keeps you positive and creative rather than kicking stones and being followed by a rainy cloud.
And that's why it was so, like, it was confronting, but so good at the same time, because I could just be like, oh, fuck, I don't want this. I don't want to come back here in 12 months into the next retreat and be like, bro, fucking work.
Or needing to come on the retreat to unplug.
Yeah.
You know, going because you go, okay, I'm in this space. I'm going to go on the retreat so I can see if I can set this space.
Yeah. Well, that's why, like, I look at your retreats a little bit different. Like, I get the retreat concept where you retire from that world and go to another world where it's idealistic and it's not necessarily real, but that's how I want my life to look, ultimately. Without the villa, I don't really give a shit. I mean, it was nice, but I don't give it...
lovely.
I don't care. I don't
villa.
need that many, like, little plunge pools. Oh, actually, I would like a plunge pool, but not that many around my house.
We had too
I know,
many.
Joe. It was a
had-
good pool, bro.
We had more pools than we knew what to do with at that place. Like, we literally, there was one pool that never even got swam in.
Yeah.
And there was also one pool that did not have the capacity to hold 16 humans, but we all got in there.
Yeah. It's cozy.
It was cozy. Melted all the ice though.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what though. I'll tell you what Bali did for me. Is it just reconfirmed?
Reaffirmed.
It reaffirmed to
I think
me.
it's confirmed. Just go with it.
You're an asshole. It made me reconnect with how little we actually need in this world. The people in Bali that were at our villa were so lovely, so happy. And, you know, they were looking after us and we were having a laugh and, you know, conversing with them and learning a bit of the local lingo and everything. Not once over the 7 days did I see those guys with anything but a smile on their face and just eager to talk and communicate with another human, you know. And you come home and people are upset and cranky and it's a choice.
Yeah.
You know, it's a choice. And they know how bad slums can be. We don't. You know, so we take this epic life that we have for granted and find the littlest and stupidest reasons to get upset and carry on like it's the end of the world. Whereas if we were put in their situation, people wouldn't get out of bed. People wouldn't have the courage to go to work and to do what they do. To smile and have fun and find the joy in every little thing that they do.
Yeah.
You know, everything just gets so much more over complex when we have all these things overstimulating our brains and our wants over our needs. And it's like you just lose touch with, you know, the essence of life and that simple happiness.
Yeah, fun.
Super deep.
Yeah.
Marinate on that one, guys. Marinate on that. To start winding it down a little, I want to talk about getting, like, and it's sort of it kicked off a little when we did the little chat at 2 and U, getting like a bit of a weekly or monthly meditation group happening. You know, the girls at 2NU do a monthly girls get together. And we've talked about collabing with them and doing the opposite, like a bit of a brother-sister collab, and getting a bit of a boys, like a man shed, for lack of a better term, happening. Not in a sexist way or a freaky orgy way, but to create a space. Did I take it too far?
No, I mean, clarity is king. It's not going to be a sex party, all right? You have to say that these days, man. You never know. The internet's a dark place.
I know, get misconstrued.
Looks like I'm typing away, but what am I really doing?
We're on record. Yeah, keep your hands above the board. All right, we're getting off topic. But so we want people to reach out, because the guided meditation was a great success away. I really feel like we have a great space here at Ghetto HQ that we can utilize to greater extent, and we can make a bit of a community hub. So if you're listening, or if you've got mates that you know would be keen, please get in touch with us. And we're going to start to plan a bit of a monthly meditation. You know, we'll shoot some hoops, we'll play some ping pong, we'll sit down, we'll meditate. If you want to talk about your experience, we talk about your experience. If you don't, you just want to sit and chill, shoot some more hoops, go for it. But we want to create a space that guys can come to, you know, they can get whatever it is that's on their chest or on their back off. You know, they can loosen up, they can be around other guys. Because the stats on depression, anxiety and suicide they're beyond ridiculous now. And I feel like this is something we can do for our community and our, you know, all the guys that we know that do struggle to talk about stuff or struggle to meditate. You know, this is just an easier step into doing that. I mean, you don't have to spill your deepest, darkest secrets and cry your eyes out or anything like that. Just come, chill, have a little meditation, chat about it, chat about what's going on, how we can help each other.
And even if you're not in that, even if you don't have a negative headspace, you're like, oh, those problems don't affect me. You never know the effect that you can have on other people.
Yes.
So the reason for this is less about necessarily a group of people sharing negative experiences, but more providing a setting and a space in which people can just be that for
share
somebody
energy.
else. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
You never know what you have to say might lighten someone else's day up.
Yeah.
You know.
And we all know, like, if you go into a room and you see someone, I've said this before, you go into a room and there's like someone you don't get along with, and they're just shooting daggers at you. You already feel like you have a crappy time. But you see someone else come in the room that you're best mates with, or you love that person, they're a good time, they're a big laugh. Suddenly the energy of the room comes up. And ultimately that's what we're trying to facilitate. It's like trying to bring that energy up, get rid of those people shooting daggers at you, and have fun. Yeah.
Episode 6, marinations on marinations. Love it.
Covered a fair bit, a lot of different tangents and digressions and things like that.
Yeah, let us know what you think, guys. And if you are a young or old male in the Illawarra area and you'd be keen to jump in on, you know, some guided meditations and just getting the group together as a community, please get in touch with us. Shoot us a message on any form of social media. We will get straight back to you, and we'll lock in a date for the coming times ahead.
Yeah.
But thanks for tuning in, guys. It is our opening this Saturday. You won't get this until after. But if you are listening right now and you didn't make the opening, get your asses down to Ghetto HQ and AccuFit, and Ian, I'll hook you up if you mention the podcast.
Only if you mention it.
Only if you mention the podcast.
If you don't mention podcast, no, just kidding.
But no, thanks again for listening, guys. Looking forward to sharing some more in the upcoming months. Getting a bit deeper on where we're headed, you know, as a group and the changes that are coming up.
Yeah.
So it'll be sick. Stay tuned, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Peace and love.
Take care, people.
Yeah. Done.